Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson wrapping this whole nonsensical day up because it started very early in the morning with falling temperatures, gusty winds, 30 degrees here in Fargo plus, and then everything changed. Wind blowing, snow, and terrible travel conditions. We'll wrap this system up and talk about the cold that's ready to take hold in this version of Hutch's weather.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
Thanks for putting up with me today, and thank you for all of your input, including some video uploads of conditions across the area that were fantastic and helped us see with our eyes what was going on. HutchesWeather.com. One thing I want to lead with this is road conditions will be tough and very difficult. No travel advisories continue into the evening. The interstate has opened, Interstate 29 rather, between Grand Forks and the Canadian border, back in business, but no travel advisories remain in effect for parts of western Minnesota and northeast North Dakota. Most of the snowfall is out of here. Not a lot of it, and what fell was very difficult to measure because if it fell up here, the gusty winds to 60 plus mile per hour drag those winds all the way to the south. When you rise and shine on your Saturday morning, here's what you need to know. It's going to be shiver worthy, but these road condition updates, we're leaving this tab right at the top, so it's very easy for you to find. HutchesWeather.com. Hit the website up for the latest road conditions because today they've been changing all day long. Crashes, closures, advisories, and alerts from our DOT crews who are doing their very best to keep roads open. You get the latest before you go, know before you go. I want to say a big thank you to all of my sponsors on HutchesWeather.com. They make the website possible, and my good friend Joe for all of his programming efforts to make this website a reality. Thanks to my friends like KAJ Hospitality in Fargo, North Dakota. They have 5 locations for you. Hotels, and not just staying if you have family coming to town, but you can also have functions there like business meetings, conferences, or weddings. Give them a call today and you can click on that link anytime that you want to find out the very latest. Again, KAJ Hospitality, Fargo, keeping us with what we need, serving the community for rooms and hospitality. Now let's take a look at our forecast, shall we? Because we have some wild weather to talk about across the area. Number one, again, check those road reports right here. You can also get the latest video forecasts right here on HutchesWeather.com. Okay, now here's a look at what we have going on with regards to our current conditions, and the temperatures are falling. We're 10 degrees after starting out at 34. They've been falling all day. Here's the cold blob making its way southward. Single-digit temperatures above and below zero are moving into out of parts of Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and right here into the valley. And overnight, we're going to see that trend toward falling temperatures continue. Now look at our wind speeds, by the way, still gusty across much of the region. Check it out. Wind gusts to 35 in Fargo, 33 in Grand Forks, 26 Boston, and out in Waskish, 21 mile per hour gusts. That's not too bad. Still smoking out there in the Rugby area with some very stout gusts in the area of around 30 miles per hour in Belcourt. So this is a far cry from those wind values that we saw earlier in the day today, hitting 62 miles per hour across the area. 62 miles per hour. Let me see if I can find that information for you here. Again, those peak gusts were just ridiculous. And my friends over at the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network keeping their eyes on their network of instruments out here. The oil patch up here north of and west of the Williston area, north and east of the Williston area, 55 mile per hour there. The Minot zone, it was tricky there with just out of town readings to 52 miles per hour. 62 miles per hour, not far from you folks in the New Rockford area, and plenty of 50 mile per hour gusts in and around the Devil's Lake Basin. The 62 mile per hour, the big winner. And looking into parts of western Minnesota, the trees slowing things down a bit, but look at that 47 mile per hour reading there in the Kitson County area. For today, those are the peak gusts. So back to the radar we go. We have a couple more current conditions to go over before we get through it. Most of the snowfall, as you saw, is pretty much out of here. Wind chills. Now tonight we're going to start seeing these wind chills be below zero. They're not terrible at this particular time, but that's going to be the focus. Dangerously cold air and wind chills that will be approaching 40 and even 50 and even 55 degrees below zero as we go through the next 3 or 4 days, Monday being the coldest, but no picnic on Sunday either as we go through the forecast here in a moment. So when will the wind die down? We'll talk about that in the forecast. And as is always the case on Hutch's Weather, if you have a comment, question, let me know here. Thank you so much for joining me, Misty. I appreciate you watching. Also, Kathy, a yucky day indeed. 24 mile per hour, says Mike, out in the Grafton area. That's some gusty winds still. And I tell you what, let's take a look then at this forecast map, and we're going to start with a look at the view from our area. So let's go right to it. Now, again, the snowfall is all but wrapped up. We're watching how close these black lines that run north and south are. Those are called isobars. The closer they are together, the more big the temperature, or excuse me, the pressure difference is. When we have a big pressure difference, that pushes the air molecules, and the air molecules get to be in a hurry, like the 62 mile per hour air molecules that we're blasting through portions of the valley today. All right, let me go back a couple of model runs. We'll get the specifics on when the wind dies down in your neck of the woods. Now, this map here showing that the strongest winds are shifting across the valley and into parts of Minnesota now. The isobars farther apart here, still out of the north and still gusts to around 30 miles per hour or better across North Dakota as we go through the overnight hours. Heading towards your morning hours, we'll stop this at 12Z. That's 6 a.m. We'll have some winds. It'll still be 15 to 30 miles per hour across most of the area, and maybe a few gusts to 35 miles per hour across parts of Minnesota. So the strongest winds will maintain their course there. Here's a little high pressure system coming down, and that's just the beginning of the cold that takes hold. Steadily and slowly falling temperatures throughout the day, with the north winds reinforcing the wind chills. By the afternoon, we're going to be below zero. So we start out at zero or just above, and we'll stay below zero for most of our northern locations all morning long. As we go into your Saturday night, the real cold takes hold. You see this blue line here? Nasty cold air dives right down the Red River Valley. This will be one of the focal points for some of the coldest of air temperatures here as well, as we have a very strong high pressure system moving into our area. North winds will continue to blow enough that Sunday morning will be brutally cold as we go through. No significant amounts of snow were recorded today, and there's no significant snow in the extended forecast either, as we'll get to in a minute. Let's talk numbers, shall we? Let's get right to it. First, though, I want to point out that we do have a little bit of information that's interesting, because the National Weather Service has issued a cold weather warning. So there's some dangerous cold that's going to be heading through our area, and let me get to the latest on that for you right quick, if there is such a thing as right quick on a day like today. Eyes are crossed. Okay, this is a little confusing to read, but essentially we have a cold weather advisory in light blue that's still in effect for about another hour here for much of our area. And then all of the area is going to be this dark blue color from Minot through Fargo and Grand Forks all the way to Duluth. All of northern Minnesota, say north of I-94 and along I-94, is going to be in this cold weather warning that is in place. So this cold weather warning is something that's going to keep us aware that there's extreme cold air in the area and extreme cold wind chills, and exposed flesh can freeze in mere minutes. 5 to 15 minutes with the wind chills that are coming around the corner. So please be advised, you want to make sure you have that survival kit in your vehicle. Now let's take a look at our temperatures, shall we, as we go through. And what we're going to do is take a look at our forecast as we go into your Saturday morning. The air temperature in Fargo and southeast North Dakota holding on to those skinny single digits above zero. 2 below Devil's Lake, 5 below as we go up into that Rolla area. 8 below in Kitson County for you folks up there near Kennedy and Hallock. 6 below Thief River Falls. So all of us in the single digits below zero to near 10 below. And that's how we start. Wind chills in the morning will be close to 30 below at times for some. Now, as we go after our sunrise at 8:06, we'll see some peaks of sun tomorrow. Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. It just depends on the time. We'll have passing waves of some cold air is going to also squeeze out some snowflakes out of the sky. I call these renegade snowflakes that just appear out of nowhere. Somebody up here in Brandon, Manitoba belches, and it snows down here somewhere between Jamestown and Devil's Lake. Maybe even in Carrington, you get a few flakes from that belch out of Brandon, Manitoba. So keep that in mind. Now, as we take a look at the temperatures Saturday afternoon, it's lower. So steady to slowly falling temperatures, 4 below in Fargo as we go to the 4 o'clock snapshot of your temperature. 14 degrees below in Rolla, out in Minot, 10 below zero, 12 below as we look out here in that Kenmare area, and it looks like 13 below for Estevan, and Winnipeg at 11 below zero. In our Minnesota counties. We'll zoom this up and sneak it over here so you can see Bemidji, 7 below, 7 below, 7 below. Hey, do I hear a 7? Do I hear an 8 below? No, a 9 below. How about that in Thief River Falls? So many of you in the single digits to around 10 below in the afternoon hours when the sun sets. It does not get any better. Check this out. Morning temperatures, air temperatures in Fargo on your Sunday morning, 14 below, a high of only 7 below. Now, on Monday, that is Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Many kids will be home from school. It's a good thing. Look at the high temperature. Fargo, I believe, will be 12 below zero as we go through the day. However, some of our northern counties will start the day in the 30s below and end the day with highs around 20 below. It's going to be brutal. Brutally cold. This air mass sets up shop right over us. Wind chills on Monday hitting 55 below zero. We stay cool on Tuesday morning, but we begin a nice warming trend that will carry through the overnight hours on Tuesday as south winds scrub out this molasses out of the area. And it really starts ushering in some much milder air into the region. Now, as we go into your Wednesday, we peak at 24 degrees, but another gusty cold front moves through Wednesday night. Not much snow, more blow, and more cold. 2 below zero Thursday, but it's not quite as deep as the deep freeze we've been in. Shh, a little quieter on Thursday as we enjoy some pleasant conditions there. And then as we turn our attention towards Friday here, we could see back up to 26 degrees. But I can't rule out a few flakes as well and some gusts to 45 miles per hour. What? Is there ever going to be that perfect combination again? We'll get there. But this is the tough part of the winter parts. That's the way it looks. Now, wind chills across the area. The coldest core of air on your Sunday morning in the northern tier of counties along and north of Highway 2, but no picnic anywhere else either. Jamestown, 36 below for a wind chill. 36 below for a wind chill Sunday morning in Grand Forks. War Road, 41 below zero. Bemidji, I'll tell you what, Paul Bunyan, I think you're going to need to wear not 1, not 2, but 4 layers of flannel out there. 40 below zero, you might as well stay in with your axe and maybe don't forget about your furry friends out there. Pedro and Leo, my forecasting friends, are inside here. Would you please remember your furry friends as well? Now check out the wind chills as the coldest of the air gets here Monday morning. Air temperatures 20 to 35 below, and wind chills will approach 55 below zero. North central and central North Dakota appears to be the bullseye for the coldest core of air that we've experienced in quite some time. 41 below for a wind chill in Bemidji. Brainerd at 35 below zero. If you're heading out to the Twin Cities, you may want to bring a light jacket or more. 29 below for the wind chill there. So with no escape from the cold anywhere here. And in fact, this cold air diving all the way south into the state of Florida, where there's going to be a chance of some snow and ice in Florida. That's it. I think I'm out of gas. I think we've got all this stuff covered. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about your questions here. Thank you so much, Misty. I appreciate you watching. Brenda, as always, and indeed, Burr is the word that I use. BA, thank you so much. Your area is going to be some pretty cold too. Not quite as cold as North Central North Dakota. Thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Sandy, thank you. I can't wait till spring either. I'm hoping for an early arrival, but we'll see about that. And you're welcome for staying informed. And as you saw in the 7-day forecast, not a lot of snow in the forecast. As well as we go through. I'll have a video for you this weekend that shows just a little bit about that, but definitely the cold is what we need to worry about right now. So one thing I talked about earlier, and I do want you to hear this and share this part, maybe let people know to watch this video in its entirety. Our furnaces are working overtime. When we get weather like this, the furnaces are burning on high all day long. Now, we haven't had a lot of snow to block your exhaust gases, but furnaces can sometimes start on fire, and it's oftentimes during this cold weather where we get that. I'm not telling you to turn your furnace off. I'm telling you to make sure it's maintained. You want to make sure that furnace filter, if you've got a central furnace or heating system with that filter in there, is clean. It needs that fresh flow of air across that heat exchanger, and you just want to avoid problems there. We don't want to hear about stories like that in the news. And thanks to our first responders for not only help clear the snow, clear accidents and crashes throughout the region today. Here's a look at those road reports real quickly. We still have a no travel advisory northeast North Dakota. The travel alert starting to shrink in aerial coverage. All of these asterisks are crashes that our emergency crews are trying to clean up out there right now. So if you don't have to travel, please stay off the roads. They're nasty and they're not fun either. So as we take a look at some of these aerial pictures and images from across the region, the good news is we're starting to see some improvement on area roads as the road crews are starting to get a little bit of a lead on some of this activity as the wind tapers off a little bit across northeast North Dakota. Still no travel advised and crashes galore where you see all the asterisks out there. Minnesota, checking on you real quick as we wrap this up. We still have areas where we have difficult travel and no travel advised in the purple road areas. No travel advised northwest North Dakota, Minnesota rather, northwest Minnesota, Kitson County, Marshall County areas especially as we look out to areas to the west of you in Thief River Falls. Those areas, as we take a look at the cameras, we'll take a look at a couple. They're going to be similar. Look at that. I can't believe how good of a job the road crews have done on these roads based on what they were looking like earlier today. Highway 9 looking up north. This is in that Beltrami area. I can tell you this. You know what? Sometimes it pays to be a meteorologist, but from the looks of this, it's very dark in Beltrami right now. So keep that in mind, and you want your headlights working. Here's a look now at Highway 10. Do you see the pink lines? In Minnesota, the pink lines illustrate areas of completely covered roads. So Glendon to Hawley is an ice fest. We have crashes in Minnesota reported out here in that Detroit Lakes area. Rochard out here out to the east on 34. Be careful out there. Slow it down. And if you don't have to travel, just stay home. Check the road conditions first thing in the morning at hutchesweather.com. But for now, I appreciate all of you. Thanks so very much. Have a safe night. And do your best to stay warm. Check on your neighbors and your four-legged friends. Make sure they have fresh water and a warm place to stay. Have a wonderful night. And again, please click that old follow button on Facebook. It helps Hutch out a great deal.